Hello everyone, welcome back. And if you're new, my name is Chris. Today is part 2 of my summer freshies for 2021. Last week's video, I picked 10 designer fragrances, and today I will be picking my top 10 niche summer freshies. So if you're interested to see what I've pulled for today's video, keep watching. I'm going to start off today's list with a fragrance I wore yesterday when it was in the triple digits. It actually got 100 degrees where I live here in the Midwest. It was a scorching day, and this one was my fragrance of the day, and it is by Parfum de Nicolai, and it is called Fig Tea. I have spoken about this before. Half of my fragrances that have tea in them I actually save for the fall. They just read a little bit more fall. And a couple of them that I have really are doing well in the warm months. And this fragrance definitely reads warm months, warm weather to me because of the notes inside. So this has a heavy note of osmanthus, which smells like apricot. So I get a orangey, apricot-y herbal tea straight off the bat. And it's very, very fresh. There is a little bit of a floral note in here. I think there's jasmine. And there is a note of artemisia, which is a fairly large group of plants or herbs. And it can impart a bitter smell to fragrances. In the colder months, I think, usually in April and May here, it was a little bit colder. When I wore this when it wasn't so hot, that artemisia note was a little bit tamer. Yesterday, it came out a little bit more prominent, so the bitter aspect of this fragrance was a little bit more noticeable than I typically like. So this probably does better when it's about 95 degrees or less. I just tend to not like that heavy bitter note. But other than that, it is a gorgeous, gorgeous fragrance. I have really enjoyed wearing this, in the 80-degree weather, high 70s. It's beautiful. And it really, really is heavy on that orangey, osmanthus herbal tea. It's very light, very airy, very bright, and does well in the heat as long as it's not extremely heat. But let's face it, not a whole lot of fragrances are going to shine in 100-degree heat. This one did well. Even though it was so hot, I actually wore it to work, and I got several compliments, people saying how nice I smelled. So no one else was picking up that bitter note like I was. It still smelled pleasant, and it lasted pretty much the whole day. It became a skin scent about hour 6, but I could get at least 8 hours out of it. So that's Fig Tea by Parfum de Nicolai. Next up was my fragrance of the day. It was another hot day. It got up to the mid-90s, and this fragrance does well in the hot and the cold weather, but it really, to me, this kind of really shines in the heat. It is a great summer freshie. It's by the house of Byredo, and it is called Bal D'Afrique. I love this fragrance. I've had it for several years. It gets a lot of love in this house, and it's probably my favorite vetiver-based fragrance. It's a beautiful vetiver fragrance, but there's also some gorgeous, juicy fruits in here. So you've got half of the fragrance being vetiver, half of it being some fruits. The fruits that I mainly get are lemon, orange. I think there's black currant in here. Yeah, it's really pretty. There's a little bit of sweetness and a touch of powderiness. I think it's from the violet, and it just dries down into this gorgeous, sweet, ambery vetiver fragrance. I love it. It is a perfect summer freshie year-round, but it does really, really well in the summer. Bal D'Afrique. Next up is a fragrance created by Frederick Robin. He is an indie perfumer, and not only is he a perfumer, but he's also a young composer. And he wanted to make a fragrance for his sister Clara, and so he made about 80 different concoctions, and the 80th one was the one she liked the most. And for whatever reason, he named it number 5. So this is Frederick Robin number 5. This fragrance is basically based on the notes of peach and white musk. And I'm going to spray it way over here because it is really, really strong. It starts off with a blast of peach and musk. Yeah, it's very strong. It's almost too strong for me the first 2 minutes. It's almost like makes your eyes water. Then it starts to settle down. It gets really, really nice. Sort of like a clean laundry type of a smell, but just real, real pleasant. So you've got this peach, you've got this musk, and then as it dries down, it does get sweeter. I think there may be some vanilla in here. Yeah, but it gets sweeter, and then in the dry down, there's some iris that comes out. It's nice and powdery. Yeah, very, very, it's a lovely fragrance. It does really, really well in the hot weather. It's a perfect hot weather freshie. Yeah, so number 5 by Frederick Robin. Next up is a fragrance that I discovered through one of my many monthly perfume subscriptions. This one happened to be through the subscription called Unique, and I think this was in my April box, and it is by Simone Andreoli, and it is called Sunplosion, and I loved it right away, and I knew I wanted a full bottle, and so I did purchase a full bottle. And it's been a while, it's been weeks and weeks, so the bottle is still on its way here, but I still wanted to talk about it because it's a great tropical summer freshie, and it is basically just like it should be called, instead of Sunplosion, it should be called Fruit Explosion. It is just an explosion of gorgeous tropical fruits. I get mango, I get pineapple. I don't know if pineapple's in there. I know guava's in here, but I get kind of a mango, orange, pineapple, some beautiful tropical exotic fruits. There is coconut in here. I think it's coconut water, or maybe coconut cream, but it's a nice light coconut undertone. There's a little bit of lime and sandalwood. Just a beautiful, beautiful fragrance. It's creamy, it's sweet, it's refreshing, it's gourmand. It's just a gorgeous, juicy, fruity fragrance that has done really, really well in these warmer days. And it kind of reminds me of the dessert called ambrosia. I'll see if I can put up a picture over here in the corner. It's the ambrosia dessert minus the marshmallows. It's just gorgeous. Lasting power is about 4 hours. I can get it to perform about 4 hours for me, but lovely. I already have many of her other fragrances on my list to be discovered, and some of them are being shipped here as well. So look forward to trying more from her this summer. So yeah, Sunplosion. Next up is a fragrance by the House of Miller y Bertaux, and it is called Menta y Menta. I am a big, big fan of mint, and so I really, really enjoy this fragrance. This fragrance is on the light side, but it smells so, so nice. It is a straight up mint or peppermint from your backyard. This is wild, very realistic mint or peppermint. It's lovely. There is also a little bit of a white floral note. I think there's jasmine. There's definitely some citruses in here, probably lime and lemon. And there's a note of roasted coffee beans. I don't really pick up that. I get basically the mint, so the spearmint, peppermint. I get a little bit of a white floral and some citruses. So those are the 3 notes I really get. It is a light fragrance. You know, sometimes I think it's completely worn off me, and then I'll get wafts of it, you know, here and there throughout the day. So I can get about 4 to 6 hours, and then it basically becomes completely a skin scent. You have to really kind of dig your nose into your skin to smell it, but it's gorgeous. And I'm willing to put up with a little bit less of a powerhouse when something smells so good. But it is a little bit on the expensive side, and the longevity is not stellar. So something you definitely want to sample first, but I think that this fragrance, the mint, the citruses, and the very subtle floral note, white floral note, make this a perfect summer freshie. Menta y Menta. Next up is a fragrance by a house that is known for their refreshing citrusy fragrances. It is by Atelier Cologne, and it is called Pomelo Paradisby. I stumbled upon this fragrance a couple years ago when I ordered something from Nordstrom's, and they sent me several free samples from Atelier Cologne. I think they sent me this one and maybe Clementine, California. I love them all. It was basically a coin toss which one that I chose. I just happened to buy this one, and I'm really pleased with it. It's just a super refreshing fragrance. It's basically a Soliflora fragrance. I don't get a whole lot going on, but it smells like a very sweet ruby red grapefruit, maybe with a little bit of mandarin orange mixed in. It's tart, but not too tart. It's tart, but with some sweetness. And as it dries down, it does get sweeter with time. I'm not sure if there's vanilla in here, but it does, on me at least, get a little sweeter with time. I can get about 4 to 6 hours on with this fragrance, and it dries down to kind of a musky, ambery citrus fragrance. It does really, really well in the hot weather, and sometimes I do wear it in December. So it is a year-round fragrance, but I think it does a little bit better in the hot weather. Gorgeous, gorgeous, refreshing, juicy, citrusy, Freshie for the summer, Pomelo Paradisby. Next up is definitely one of my favorite fragrances in this list. It is by the house of Unum Nomad, and it is called Nothing But Sea and Sky. This is not only a gorgeous summer freshie, but it, in my opinion, is a beautiful year-round fragrance. If you follow me on Instagram, you will have seen me post this many, many times. I actually posted this in the dead of winter. If it was really, really cold and it was just a beautiful, crisp blue sky, I just pulled this fragrance. It just seems to be the fragrance that I want to wear when it is just a beautiful blue sky. It's just a gorgeous fragrance. There's only 3 notes listed. I'm sure there are more notes than this, but you know, it's not a groundbreaking fragrance, but there's a beautiful simplicity to this. Yeah, the notes listed are bergamot, sandalwood, and musk, and it's basically a citrusy sandalwood with musk. The musk is not too screechy. It's just very light and clean and airy and bright. Some people might think that this reminds them of kind of a fresh laundry type of smell. I definitely get, the note that sticks out the most is the sandalwood, but it's just a beautiful, smooth sandalwood. Absolutely love this fragrance. It's done really well on the hot weather days too. So one of my favorite fragrances in my collection. Like I said, just a beautiful simplicity to it. Gorgeous, gorgeous, wonderful, summer freshie, nothing but sea and sky. Next up is a fragrance by the house of Lubin, and it was gifted to me for my birthday, end of February, early March, and it is called Gin Fizz, and it is based on the cocktail Gin Fizz, and it is a tribute to the actress Grace Kelly. I think a Gin Fizz was her favorite cocktail at the time, and in the 1950s, when she was a famous actress, a Gin Fizz was really popular at the time. So, even though I don't drink a lot of Gin Fizzes, I will say that this is a good interpretation of the Gin Fizz. It's a very crisp, aromatic, citrusy fragrance. I definitely get juniper in here for the gin. I definitely get a lemon note. This is kind of an unsweetened lemon note, and musk. This has a strong note of musk. It's not musky, but there is a strong note of musk, and it's like the crisp musk, not animalic musk. There's definitely a floral in here, and if I were to guess, I would say it's jasmine. So this is a crisp, effervescent, musky, fizzy fragrance. I do think there's also oak moss in here. So I think it's a good representation of the drink. It is a good fragrance for the heat, and I know a lot of people really, really love this. It would be perfect And if I didn't say it already, there is a heavy dose of lemon. I actually don't think I said that. There's a lot of lemon in here. So lemon, juniper, musk, some sort of floral, I would guess jasmine. Yeah, so it would be perfect if the jasmine or the white floral was toned down and the lemon was a little bit sweetened. I would just prefer it, but it's still an incredibly good summer freshie, and I know a lot of people that really love this, so that's why it made my list, Gin Fizz. Next up is another fragrance by the house of Parfum de Nicolai, and that is called Eau de Yuzu. And this fragrance I actually got as a gift with purchase when I bought my fig tea, and I actually think I might like this even better. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous summer freshie, and it is a fairly new fragrance. I think it came out in the year 2020. But anyways, like the name implies, this is a beautiful, citrusy, aromatic, woody fragrance. Yeah, it's got a gorgeous, in the beginning, you get this blast of citruses. There's yuzu, grapefruit, lemon or lemon leaf. It's just really, really has a gorgeous juiciness to it. And as it dries down, there's a pepperiness here. There's like a peppery juniper. And as it dries down, it just kind of settles into a sweet, citrusy, woody fragrance. You know, when I smell it, I think I'm getting vetiver, and I looked at the notes. There's no vetiver in here. There's just, the base notes are patchouli and oud, but it smells like there's vetiver in here. It's just gorgeous. Absolutely love it. One of the great things about this fragrance, besides how good it smells, is that this lasts all day. I can get this to last 8 to 10 hours, which is really unusual for a citrusy fragrance, a citrusy freshie. Gorgeous fragrance, one of my favorite summer freshies, Eau de Yuzu. Second to last fragrance is another one by Atelier Cologne, and this one is called Pacific Lime, and I have the travel spray in this, and I can't remember what video it was, but a couple people reached out in the comments section and said, you need to get Pacific Lime. And at the time I thought, do I really? I have so many fresh fragrances, I have so many citrus fragrances, and I already love Pomelo Paradisby. Do I really need another one? And I went ahead and got it, and I'm so glad I got it. I absolutely love this fragrance. So, oh, it's one of my favorite summer freshies. So it has so many notes that I love and enjoy. So there's lemon, there's lime, there's coconut, there's mint. I think there's eucalyptus, but it's very tropical. So it's basically, so lemon, lime, mint, coconut. That's a mojito. That's a mojito with lemon. The eucalyptus is really kind of subtle. It's not as prominent. It's more in the background. I get just a touch, not a whole lot. But this is a gorgeous fragrance, and I'm so glad I picked it up. I've been wearing it actually a ton. And I do kind of get the coconut in here. This is more of a coconut water type of a coconut. It's done so, so well in the hot weather we've been having. I can get about 4 or 5 hours on it, but it is definitely one of my favorite summer freshies. Thank you for the recommendations. Pacific Lime, absolutely love it. So the last fragrance was supposed to be Musk Therapy by Initio Parfums. I've already burned through 2 samples, and the full bottle hasn't quite made it to me yet. So I did a pivot, and I decided last minute to kind of add another one to the list because I like having a list that has a round number like 10. And it's another fragrance that I fell in love with the sample, and the full bottle is also on its way to me, but I do have the little sample of it, and it's by Sylvaine Delacourte, and it's from her Musk series, and I bought all her discovery sets, the musk, the orange blossom, and the vanilla. And this one is called Smeraldo. I don't even know if you can probably see that. I'll try to put a picture of the fragrance in the corner of the slide here. But this Smeraldo, I hope I'm pronouncing this right, Smeraldo means emerald in Italian. And the fragrance is supposed to transport you into nature with some beautiful citruses and greenery on a beautiful soft bed of musk. And I think that Sylvaine Delacourte wanted to make a fragrance that was both crisp and soft at the same time, and frankly, she completely nailed it. I think this is really a beautiful fragrance, and I can't wait to get my full bottle. So when you first spray this, there's definitely citruses and green notes. There's yuzu. I definitely get lime. And this year may be the year of Angelica for me, because this is yet another fragrance that has Angelica in it. It's very, very pretty. So it starts off very crisp, and I do get a little bit of a pine note or some woody note. I think there's pine in here. So it's very, very crisp in the beginning, and it dries down into this soft, powdery, kind of a honeyed musk. So it is crisp and soft. Not at the same time, but in the same fragrance. I love this. This is beautiful, gorgeous. A little bit different take on a summer freshie because it's very, very crisp, but it does have a sweet powderiness to it that I love, and I can't wait to get my full bottle, Smeraldo. So that wraps up my niche summer freshies. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys learned something. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for supporting me, and I will see you on the next one.